but I have to talk to you about it, bro. The Jubilee video. You didn't want to talk about the genitalia, right?
Well, I
With
mean,
the trans dude.
I mean, why would I? I mean, no, no,
That was
under no
crazy, that clip.
circumstances. Whoa, whoa.
That was
That
probably
was a thing I did not want to even have. That's not an image I wanted. That's not. No, none of that. None of that actually.
that was probably the most viral clip I've seen in a long time. Like all over TikTok.
And it was a psychotic break. I mean, this person got up and was not making an argument. There was no argument there, and so she started talking, and I started trying to interject to try and have a conversation, and she was growling and moving the chair around and just yelling. And at a certain point, I was like, you know what, I can't interject. There's nothing I can do to interrupt this stream of consciousness nonsense. What was kind of shocking to me is that obviously the format there is that people can raise the red flag and cut this thing short.
It's a pretty good setup.
Right, but because of the intersectional nature of the thing, this was the thing that kind of shocked me about the Jubilee video, is people who were making truly awful arguments. If they had intersectional qualities, people would let them go for a long time. And people who were making half-decent arguments, very often, like, the flags would come out right away. And so I was kind of shocked by that, like the kind of informal intersectional structure of the entire event. Like, this person, well, because she's a trans man, that means we're just going to let her go for like 6 minutes just ranting and raving nonsensically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much so that segment finished. I'll be honest, I haven't actually watched the whole thing through because I experienced it in real time. After that finished, that had run down the clock entirely on the abortion debate, right? We'd done 20 minutes on abortion. Other people were like, I still want to comment on, like, I still wanted to do the abortion debate. And so the producers said to me, like, can we put some more minutes on the clock? I was like, I feel like that would be fair to put some more minutes on the clock for all these other people if they want to comment on it, because that had nothing to do with the topic. That was an emotional rant. And I really don't have anything to respond to it. I mean, what am I supposed to respond to somebody who's clearly having an emotional meltdown in front of me?
So it's you versus 25 people, right?
Yeah, so you're sitting in the middle of the circle. It was like 20. It was actually closer to 30, I think. They may have called it 25, but I think there were actually 29 sitting in this circle. And the way the format works is that they sort of race. They race to the chair, sort of, which is always amusing. And whoever gets there first gets to sit there and debate until a majority of the people in the circle raise a red flag and say it's time to switch that person out. After a certain point, there were people who obviously were slower to get to the chair who wanted to. So I sort of started choreographing the thing where I'd be like, okay, you know what? This person hasn't talked yet. You've talked already. I want to be fair to everybody in the circle. Just guys, like, I promise I'll get to you. Like, let this person run up and do it. So,
Do you think anyone kind of gave you a run for your money?
I wouldn't say run for my money, but some people made some interesting arguments that I thought were sort of out of left field. There was the dude who tried to compare the Electoral College to DEI. I thought that was a weird, strained argument, but I could kind of see.
That's your boy, no? Blonde kid?
Dean? I know him.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
He's fine. He's like best friends with that kid.
I mean, I don't know about best friends.
I mean, smart guy. I mean, obviously, it has some IQ points. I thought that was a real stretch of an argument, but it was an interesting one I hadn't heard before. And I always get kind of interested when I hear an argument that I haven't heard before. That's always kind of interesting to me. So I thought that was the argument that I heard that I was most kind of taken by, because, again, I do this professionally, which means that I just spend all day reading arguments on both sides of every issue. And, I could kind of, through a glass darkly, see kind of what he was getting at, but at least it made me think. At least it made me like sit there and go, okay, is that true? Is that not? Like that I thought was
That's
kind of
impressive if someone could do that to you.
Yeah, I mean, you hit me with something completely out of left field, and that's okay. At least makes me pause and consider the argument. So,
But would you agree you were 25-0?
I mean, I didn't see anybody defeat any of the arguments that I was making. So the way that I view these things is not about defeating me personally. Right? When you go into these situations, the hardest thing to do is just stay emotionally, kind of on an even keel throughout this sort of stuff. I mean, you're being berated by some giant person who's yelling at you in your face, and you have to just be like, okay, that's life. Or when I was in Oxford, and there are people who are literally arguing that genocide of Jews is okay, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I just have to kind of sit here and take it. Like that's the hard part. And when I talk to people about what I do for a living, everybody assumes the hard part of the job is the reading and the organization, and can you get on camera and talk for 45 minutes straight? How do you do that every day? I mean, that's what I do for a living. That's not the hard part. I'd say 80% of the effort I expend in life is not saying things, is not responding to things.